Welcome back to the Future of Real Estate. I'm Brett Ellis of the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. This month we want to share with you what's going on in the Southwest Florida real estate market, and particularly we're going to focus on short sales and how they relate to both buyers and sellers. Now, I want to give you a little bit of information, and then we're going to share some exciting news for you here in just a minute. In this week's article in the news press that we write, we're talking about the banks are revving up and doing more short sales. In fact, Bank of America in 2010 did more short sales than they did foreclosures. And people used to think of, because Bank of America is the largest servicer in the industry, they had the most foreclosures. And that might be true, but they've really added a push to do more short sales. And a short sale is definitely advantageous for a seller and for a buyer. On the seller side, it's more advantageous because it helps repair their credit faster than if they go through an arduous foreclosure process. And that really takes you down. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. So I want to give you an update because the banks are gearing up. I want to show you what's going on in our local market and then tell you what we're here to offer in terms of solutions to help you out so you don't have to get your credit damaged through a foreclosure or bankruptcy, that sort of thing. So here's the article. If you want to view that, you can go to our website, blog.topagent.com, or go to the News Press website, either one. Here's what's going on in the market. Here's sales. Now, sales have been strong, and we even saw an uptick in June. We kind of predicted that, so that's done as expected. And the single family is here in the red, and the condos down here in the green. But I want to look at inventory here because our inventory has really been falling. And right now, this is the short sale inventory, and this is the overall inventory up here. You can see that's been falling. Our short sale inventory, believe it or not, is 31% of the overall inventory. So it's a major component of our inventory. And I've even got a graph over here where our total distress sales are about 50% in the market. So you can see short sales and bank foreclosures dominate the Southwest Florida real estate market. Now, if you're a seller and you know that banks are gearing up to do short sales, they'd rather do short sales. I want to talk about, and I want to introduce Marisa, who has joined the Ellis team. Now, Marisa, for those of you who don't know, Sandy, Mike, and I, we're what we call CDPs. We're Certified Distressed Property Experts. In fact, nobody has more CDPs on staff than the Ellis team. But we also went out, and Marisa's got an interesting background. You worked with Bank of America.
Correct, for 14 years.
And you worked in the title industry. So you've got a background on what banks were looking for. And you started to see a trend a few years ago, and you came from the Virginia market, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about that trend and on how agents started coming to you and with their frustrations on short sales.
Sure, absolutely. Working for Bank of America for a long period of time and working with our RE/MAX office in Brevard County. We noticed that there was a lot of need out there for realtors needing assistance with putting the package together for a short sale process.
That's kind of what this article that we wrote is about. It's not an easy process. In fact, it's complicated.
Absolutely.
Banks are looking for certain things, and if you don't package it the way they want, it's not going to go, is it?
Correct. It's not going to go. It's going to be pushed aside. They're going to go to the next package that is fulfilled and is complete.
Tell us about a few of the things they look for.
They look for, first of all, they look for the hardship. They have to see that you actually have intention of having a hardship.
So if you're a millionaire and you just don't want to pay your mortgage because property values have gone down, the banks aren't too interested in doing that, are they?
No, not at all. This is completely for somebody that has a hardship, and they are going to show the bank they have a hardship. They're going to look at their bank statements. They're going to uncover things in their bank statements. They're going to look at their letter. They're going to look at all their financial records. So
putting that letter together is important.
Very key.
There are key elements you want to have in that letter.
Absolutely.
And it must match what the bank is looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say you get a hardship letter. What else are they looking for? Bank statements?
They're looking for 60 days worth of bank statements. There's a lot they're going to uncover in those bank statements a lot of people aren't aware of. And that's where, myself, I can actually look at them and see what they're going to look for.
So I guess I would liken a short sale to this. When you apply for a mortgage, you have to qualify.
Correct.
You almost have to apply to be a short sale seller.
Absolutely.
And you must qualify that way too.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit like getting a loan, isn't it?
Yes.
Only in reverse. We're trying to undo a loan.
Correct. And the same thing, you're going to submit on originating to an underwriter. You're going to submit to an underwriter with short sales too as well.
Okay. So we are experts here at the Ellis team. Now, let's talk about the benefits. You also did loan origination.
Absolutely.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and whatnot, what they have come out and said was, hey, we know a lot of people out there are hurting. if they cooperate with us and work with us to not do a foreclosure and do a short sale, it will harm your credit, because they will report on the credit to the credit bureaus, and on your credit report it will show that you satisfied a mortgage, but maybe it was I can't remember the terms, but basically it'll show that you did a short sale.
Correct.
You might not be able to buy a property for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go through a foreclosure, that may be 7 to 10 years.
Correct.
So it really hurts your credit.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now, the other thing is this: if you get a foreclosure, there's a good chance you may get a deficiency judgment against you.
Yes.
Or a 1099
Yes.
for the. I guess I'll explain it like this. Let's say you have a $300,000 mortgage and you sell it for $200,000. Minus expenses, whatnot, the bank might get 175, 180. Let's say 180. So the bank has taken $120,000 loss on that mortgage. They are going to attribute $120,000 income to you, which you might have to pay income taxes on to the IRS. Now, that's not necessarily income you got. It doesn't matter. The IRS could look at it that way. Now, the IRS, if it's your primary residence, hasn't been doing that. But what if it's investment property? They could say that's income to you. Or, it's usually one or the other. The bank will say, we'll either 1099 you or do efficiency judgment, and you can negotiate those. So let's say the bank's got $300,000 in it, you're asking them to take $200,000. They could say, well, there's $100,000 there. We might ask you to sign a promissory note for, let's say, 10%, so $10,000. So you're off the hook for $100,000, but they want you to sign and make payments on $10,000. Pretty good deal, right? And if you do that, we won't go after you for a deficiency judgment. Now, I'm even seeing banks lately are really pushing these short sales. They're offering these to people and not doing the deficiency judgment. So there's really a focus to do these short sales. We've talked about the benefits, how we can help you with your credit. And even some banks are coming to us. I won't name which banks, but they're coming to us and saying, here's some customers. If you could work on a short sale with them, we'll be very lenient with them and encourage them to do that. And so it's really a focus. They're really trying to avoid this foreclosure mess because it's less costly to the bank, it's less costly to the seller because it helps your credit report, not as many IRS implications, and they don't have to get the attorneys involved and pay them all the money, go through all the courts and all the process. So any final thoughts? Oh, I want to make one more point. The large banks now have really streamlined this process. Mm-hmm. We work with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, NationStar, BSI Financial Services, ASC. All those have gone to the Equator system, which makes it easy to go online and get things done. But we work with Aquin, SunTrust. They don't use Aurora. They don't use Equator. They each have their own proprietary system, and understanding those makes a big difference.
Huge.
And that's why working with a short sale expert like us and like Marisa here can make a big difference. Finally, buyer agents won't show a short sale property unless they have confidence that the listing agent knows what they're doing, can package it up properly. So what advice would you give to sellers out there considering, packaging up? A regular seller can't do this by owner, can they?
No, not at all. Basically, the key is to have a complete package to shorten the time frame. So sitting down with the right people, reviewing the documents, making sure you complete the package properly and submit it to the bank will minimize the time that you have to process the short sale.
And I think another key thing is pricing it properly. So let's say you have a $300,000 mortgage and today's market value is $150,000. So you don't want to price this thing at $80,000 when the bank's going to go out and do a BPO and say, or an appraisal and say, hey, this thing's worth $150,000. Mm-hmm. We might consider a $145,000 or $150,000, but we're not going to. I mean, you're asking us to take a loss from $300,000, which is owed, down to $150,000. So you can bring a nice property right down into market value, and today's values are great deals. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of our homes are 1/5, 1/6 the price they used to be, and yet they're going up. We've got graphs here we could get into that shows, prices are starting to go up. I think I might even, this is I think just on the number of sales here, but we've got another one that shows prices. They are going up. Most people in Southwest Florida have realized that. We're getting buyers from all over the world. But now you can get a bank to take less, do these short sales, but you don't want to underprice it. You're just going to blow your short sale right out of the water. And that's another reason why buyer agents only want to work with listing agents they have confidence in, like a CDPE or someone like us that specializes in these things and knows what we're doing. Any other final thoughts?
The key is just to work with a successful realtor, and the Ellis team definitely has the experience, to process a short sale and actually list it properly.
Well, I hope this this video was informative, kind of shows you what your options are and how to go about listing a short sale. And if you're a buyer, we can help with short sales too. There's a lot of things you need to know. And if you're a buyer, I would definitely qualify and make sure that that seller is qualified. Otherwise, you could go down a 3, 6, 8 month road path and then find out your short sale doesn't get accepted. So work with people who know what they're doing. If you do that, you can wipe them up with a pretty good deal, get some really nice properties. They don't tend to be beat up like some of the foreclosures are, and everybody wins. And that's the key thing, is everybody can win, and even the bank can get out of it. They're going to take a loss either way. If it goes to foreclosure, they might even take a bigger loss. But at least the property stays maintained, the neighborhood is happy, the weeds don't get all the way up to here in many cases. So it can be a win-win for everyone. You've been watching The Future of Real Estate, presented by the Ellis team at RE/MAX. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at 239-489-4042. Don't forget our website, which is topagent.com, and our blog, which is blog.topagent.com. And we'll see you next week.